Hi, good day, everyone. My name is Andrew, and I'm just here today on Know the Truth. And yeah, sorry, I just pulled over just to make a quick thought, to give a quick thought on the issue concerning the gentleman who wants to be now known as Caitlyn Jenner. You may know better than I do, but I see there's a problem that is being misunderstood within this case. A man apparently who wants to be now addressed as a woman, and I've been listening to some comments over over the radio and on the papers, the TV, on the street, and so on concerning this gentleman. And some people might even say, "Why call him a gentleman?" But for respect, he's still a human being, and this is part of the argument. One, I first want to let you know that we addressed every human being and as a human being, right? So I will not belittle him or cause anyone to or promote any type of violence towards anyone, right? But to love everybody. And this is part of the issue, which people will use the word love to cause someone else to shut up or to shut someone else up who has difference in opinion. And I noticed one of the words been pushed around besides love is feeling. If he feels this way, it's a feeling, and they're not really standing on that word or really taking inventory or thought about the word feeling. How could I was thinking about, in a lot of arguments, you bring up the word feeling, and someone will say, yeah, but that's just your feeling when it concerns what is reality. And the reality is, he's a man. If he was to do a DNA test without being seen, it will show up to be a man with the man chromosomes and male chromosomes, and he won't be able to hide, regardless of his outward appearance. A thought that came to me today: if I put ice cream on a snake's head, it doesn't become an ice cream cone, it's still a snake. If I put a lipstick on a pig's mouth, it doesn't turn the pig into a beautiful princess, but it's still a pig. So dressing up or changing your outward appearance and encouraging everyone else to call you something other than what you are doesn't mean you are suddenly transformed. You are more or less, we are encouraging ourselves to walk in a life of diluted sorry for making not picking the right word, but walking in a life where the situation is not true, right? Basically living a real lie, right? um, Encouraging everyone to address us as being something which we weren't necessarily born in a physical way as. So I know people will bring up a lot of arguments, but there's still an argument to be had here. If we were to be called something, when I was a little kid, I wanted to be Superman. And I could have run around with a cape on my back all day. I felt like I could fly. I believe I could have flew. But at the same time, it wasn't true, right? They have a lot of people who are suffering with anorexia, sorry, and they believe that they are fat when they weigh less than 80 pounds, less than 50 pounds, right? They believing something, believing yourself to be something doesn't make you become that thing, right? They use words like, I feel that I am trapped in a man's body, I feel like a woman. If you were never a woman, what makes you think that's the way a woman feels, right? So many things, and we are so hypocritical. We will encourage them to pursue a illusion, right? We will encourage them to live a diluted or a diluted or polluted, I don't even know how to, but did you know the word I'm trying to say? Life. And we have to be honest. If we want to use the word love, we have to correct and encourage people in love. Now, we live in a society now where we pick and choose what we consider um, ethical and now moral. That's because we'll use the thing since he's not hurting anyone besides himself, right? Since he's not hurting anyone, we have no right to be in his bedroom. But they just awarded the gentleman an award for courage, right? And this is just what I heard. I didn't see it myself. I saw little clips on the news and I heard a little bit on the radio, and the word which was used was courage. So I could be corrected. I stand to correct. But the word which the award represent is a sense of courage. And then they were using stuff as being, he was being very courageous because plenty people are being persecuted, or a lot of suicides are being had because of the lack of understanding of the way people feel. And that may or may not be true, but a lot of people commit suicide for a lot of different reasons. And that don't necessarily mean we have to run out and change the way to change the way they live. What it may take us to understand what's going on, so we'll make um, uh, the correct changes, or the correct diagnostic correction on the person's life. So what I'm getting at is this: if I believe that I am something, there are other reference points that I can look at to see what, or to draw a conclusion what I am or what I'm supposed to be, right? Understanding that I may feel one way, but I am not that. I can feel like an elephant, but still I'm a human being. I could sometimes use this. I feel strong like a lion, but I'm still a human being. We use terms to define particular feelings, but those terms doesn't change the reality of who I am. So now what we are tending to do, we are tending to go with the gifts of medical science to try to manipulate the natural body, to conform the natural body into the way that I feel. Now you will see people cutting themselves. They will see people changing the way their tooth is grown. They'll make cosmetic changes to look a certain way, because they feel a certain way. Now, we as a society, we must be very careful of how we allow or promote. Some people don't want me to use the word promote, but we are promoting when we are not correcting, right? They said the person is going back to the point, they're feeling he's very courageous for coming out, right? That might be a good word, and then they may use words, positive people in history that most people consider a positive move today. Might not be positive move at the time, with Rosa Parks and Martin Luther King, and they will use these people as being courageous based on doing something, I guess, against the grain. But if that is the way you're going to use the word courageous, I could also use the word courageous for Hitler or Bin Laden or Pol Pot, or I can go. You can go on. You can pick men through history who have done things against the grain, right? Mussolini, and we could go on and on and on, picking people who we don't consider a positive change. More or less, these were more, in our eye view, negative, and we can say they are courageous in making that negative choice, or that going into that negative direction. So he being courageous based on doing something which we understand, or some people don't want to understand, that it's a lie. He's not a woman. He was born a man based on the gender that we identify being male and female, right? Now what we will have to do, we'll have to now abolish to cradle this new mentality, because we'll want these people not to feel segregated or isolated, right? Based on feelings. Again, feelings supporting one feeling over another, I will say we are being hypocritical, right? Being very hypocritical. Looking at supporting one feeling over another. And then you may say, well, this the one doesn't hurt anyone. But he's hurting himself and being very selfish because his family, his children, his loved ones, all these people are being affected by the decision he has made. Now you will say, oh, well, he is his own person, right? He's his own person, but his behavior is affecting other people. So now we mustn't care about our feelings, because now our feelings are coming into play, right? So his feelings has now trumped my feelings, or his sister's feelings, or his son's feelings, or his mother's feelings, and we must conform to how he feels. If you understand what I'm saying, we must confirm his feelings has now trumped our feeling. And since, okay, it's not physically hurting anyone, I could say, well, since it's not physically hurting him, keep the way, because basically you're going on emotions now. He's emotionally hurt. What about the emotional pain that his family may go through, his emotional lack of understanding what his family go through? His now has now trumped everyone else, and everyone else's feelings is disregarded. Right? But it's coming back again. If you're going to base making this decision on feelings, no scientific proof, the only thing we can base this thing on or line it up to is what we consider the norm of society. Looking at some and projecting something else upon yourself. And now everyone is conforming to help you live a lie. When you thought originally you were living a lie. The lie that you were living is, at one time you wasn't confessing these were the feelings you were having. But that don't make it right. A lot of people may feel emotional or sexual drive towards an animal. That don't mean that they should have a love affair with the animal. People do, but you see, if we were to go on, we can go on for hours, and then we will have to debate our whole life on feelings, right? I can say, well, I was born a Christian, and now you guys cannot condemn me because since I was born a Christian and I feel like a Christian, you cannot deny me that of my feelings. You cannot judge me by how I feel about myself, how I feel about society around me, how I feel for a society is ridiculing, and so on. So this thing is very, very, very thought-provoking. Sooner or later, of course, the society is going to accept it, because the trump card that will be used here will be love. And in our society, love is used as a card that you shouldn't say anything after the fact. If they say, but he's kind to me, he's yes, sorry. He is kind to me. He's a lover to me. He's a friend to me. All these things. When this card is used, people misunderstand, or they will withdraw their feelings because we don't really have anything to draw to, right? We don't have anything to draw to. But at the same time, I want you to understand that if we continue, sorry for the distraction because my phone is ringing. I told you before, I'm actually in the car just bringing my thoughts concerning this new and upcoming promotion. I'll use the word again, promotion of a lifestyle based on someone who feels strongly that they are a woman on the inside. Right? But physically, they were born a male. Now, they will say naturally they were trapped in a woman's body. Never being a woman, never being a woman, have no real idea of what it is to be a woman, and never will. May look like a woman, but will never will understand the full dynamics of being a woman. Right? And this thing could go on for and it will go on. Men gonna have to understand, or the world will have to understand, that if we're gonna allow feelings now to make our choices just based on feelings, and neglect the reality of our upbringing. Some people, I will even say, if you want to go this route, since this is a secular route of evolution, in the case of evolution always goes for the best way of preserving itself. Evolution is about self-preserving of its own well-being. And in this case, it cannot self-preserve. It's dead before it gets out the gate, right? Evolution promotes self-preservation. And if you want to stay true to evolution, this is basically cutting off the head of the horse before the horse is able to reproduce, right? And we're running into this wall. When society understands that this dead end that we are heading down is unproductive, I believe it's going to be too late, right? We're going to use the card love, so we will shut people up. Well, you should love him, you should care for him. Yes, we should, but that don't mean we have to accept what he's doing. And we're going to be forced by society to accept it, and to teach it, and to promote it, and to push it, right? And before you know it, everyone else who it has offended, affected, hurt, has now been cast at the side as being incooperative, haters, maybe even terrorists. You go on, you name it. We have seen this before. This came up not with, they try to draw the comparison with the blacks and how the blacks were once oppressed, right? They're trying to draw this comparison, but I think it will be more compared with the gays and the lesbian movement. When they first came out, people they came up against this type of opposition, but when it was more promoted, accepted by government, by the people, based on love, under the guise of love, it had, and eventually it's now more accepted. It will be considered a hateful move, an uncaring move to say you disagree publicly and openly with their lifestyle. And I believe this is the same thing going to happen. And this was one of the things we as believers were already aware of that's going to happen. When one gate is open, you cannot deny the rest, because they're going to come under the guise of love. When the man who decides to love his cats and his dogs and want to marry them, how you could deny them based when he says he loves, right? Love is now used as the trump, which overwhelms and overtakes the natural and I'm sorry, the word just escapes me right now, but I hope you get the point that I'm driving home. I know my argument will never be 100% sound, because someone else with stronger feelings and a stronger emotion will try to pinpoint words that I slipped in and I misunderstood or I mispronounced or something, to dissect, to promote again the same lifestyle, an unproductive lifestyle. No matter how you promote it, it will continue to be unproductive. It will not promote new life. It cannot produce new life. It could only borrow from life that already exists, right? So we will be encouraging a sterile society, a society broken, a society misfunctioning, that the misfunction will now become the norm, right? The longer we stay operating on one cylinder, is the more we will believe we're supposed to function on one cylinder. Right? If you live in the dark long enough, you'll believe that's as much light that exists. So if you are still wary and not sure about decisions that are being made, I'll tell you what was once wrong will now become right. There's so what's wrong with that. You will go old fables and so on. Yes, sooner or later I will be the minority. Sooner or later I will be the one who is hateful and bitter. But I'm telling you this in love. In love as we know love to be. In spite of who you are or what you're doing, I still love you. But that doesn't mean what you're doing is not hurtful to yourself and those who are close to you. That doesn't mean we don't care about you. That doesn't mean because I love you, I will encourage you or I would ignore the things that you're doing, which could be detrimental, not just to yourself, but to society, younger children. That doesn't mean when you do it, suicide will automatically stop. Right? I hope you understand what I'm saying today. For those of you who will not change, I will not understand, I pray, maybe you won't want my prayer, but I pray that you will see that I love you and I care about you. And in spite of our differences in opinion, I will not hurt you. I will not physically promote any harm towards any one of you. I believe that you are born and shaped in the image of the true and living God. So I shall not promote damage, nor hurt, nor attack against your life. I want you to live and not die to declare the love of the Lord. Love you today. Be good. I hope you will have a blessed day. Have a blessed evening. Be encouraged. And hope that we will meet again soon. Okay, bye.